Imagine handing your newborn baby to a nurse, a woman in a clean white uniform, someone you trust. Now imagine that same nurse deciding, quietly, that your child doesn't deserve to live. No knife, no poison, no scream, just silence. This is the story of Japan's deadliest nurse, a woman history almost forgot. They called her the Angel of Death, Tokyo. Late 1940s. World War II is officially over, but don't get it twisted. Japan isn't celebrating. The country is on its knees. Cities are burned. Families are starving. The streets smell like smoke, sweat, and survival. People aren't dreaming about the future anymore. They're just trying to make it to tomorrow. And babies? Babies are being born into hell. What happens when life is born into a world that doesn't want it? Hospitals are overcrowded. Supplies are low. Nurses are exhausted. And the government? Practically missing in action. Infant mortality is everywhere. Kids die from hunger, disease, cold. So when a baby doesn't make it, most people don't even ask questions anymore. And that's exactly how evil slips in. Inside a Tokyo maternity hospital, there's a woman who seems calm in the chaos. She doesn't panic. She doesn't rush. She moves with purpose. Her name is Miyuki Ishikawa. To parents, she's a lifesaver. To colleagues, she's experienced. To the system, she's invisible. But behind that calm face, something is deeply wrong. Not all killers lose control. Some believe they're doing the right thing. Ishikawa isn't angry. She's not emotional. She doesn't hate babies. She just doesn't think all of them should live. In her mind, children born to poor parents, children born sick, children born unwanted, they're already doomed. And here's the dangerous part. She truly believes death is mercy. She starts quietly categorizing newborns, not in files, not on paper, in her head. This one has parents who can't afford food. This one was born out of wedlock. This one's mother didn't even want the pregnancy. To Ishikawa, these aren't children. They're burdens. And when you stop seeing people as people, anything becomes possible. Parents come to her desperate, crying, ashamed, broke. Some don't even ask for help. They just look lost. That's when Ishikawa steps in. She speaks gently, reassuringly. Leave the baby with us. We'll take responsibility. And in post-war Japan, when a nurse says that, you believe her. But responsibility is a lie. The babies she decides aren't worth saving are taken away from the main ward, placed in side rooms, storage areas, corners of the hospital no one checks. No milk, no blankets, no medical care. They're not killed. They're ignored. Starvation doesn't look like murder until it's too late. At first, the babies cry, weak cries, desperate cries. Then their bodies start to shut down. No energy, no sound. Eventually, nothing. That silence becomes normal. And here's the part that turns your stomach. Ishikawa charges money. Parents are told they still owe hospital fees. Some are pressured into paying to solve the problem. Others don't even realize what they're paying for. This isn't just cruelty. It's a system, a quiet, efficient system of death. How many babies can disappear before someone notices? Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. Bodies begin piling up. Tiny corpses wrapped and hidden, disposed of like medical waste. But nobody panics. Why would they? Babies die all the time now. That's the excuse. That's the shield. And behind that shield, Ishikawa keeps going. She doesn't rush. She doesn't escalate. She just repeats the process. Again. And again. And again. Every serial killer has a moment where the silence breaks. That moment comes when police discover multiple infant bodies tied to the same hospital. Too many. Too similar. This isn't coincidence anymore. This is a pattern. And at the center of that pattern, one nurse keeps appearing. When investigators question Ishikawa, they expect panic. They don't get it. She's calm, cold, almost bored. She doesn't deny the deaths. You'd think hundreds of dead babies would mean life in prison. You'd be wrong. When the case finally hits the public, Japan is stunned, but not the way you'd expect. There's outrage, sure, disbelief, horror. But underneath it all, there's something else. Embarrassment. Because this isn't just about one nurse anymore. This is about a country being forced to look at itself. The courtroom doesn't feel dramatic. No shouting, no chaos. Just quiet tension. Miyuki Ishikawa sits there calmly, hands folded, posture straight. She doesn't look like a monster. That's the problem. Prosecutors lay out the facts. Dozens of infant bodies, witness testimony, a clear pattern of neglect. And yet, something feels off. Because every time they push toward the word murder, the law pushes back. What if the law itself refuses to call something evil? At the time, Japanese law doesn't clearly define death by neglect as murder, especially in cases involving infants during national crisis. No knife, no poison, no single moment of violence, just omission. And omission, legally speaking, lives in a gray zone. The defense leans hard into that gray. They argue, the parents abandoned the babies, the hospital was overwhelmed, the country was poor, death was common. They don't say Ishikawa is innocent. They say everyone is guilty. And somehow, it works. The courtroom starts shifting focus, from the dead babies to the broken system. Judges openly admit the government failed, social services failed, hospitals failed. And in that fog of shared responsibility, Ishikawa's personal accountability starts fading. Justice doesn't disappear all at once. It erodes. When the verdict comes down, it feels unreal. No murder conviction. Instead, she's found guilty of abandonment of corpses. That's the official language used to describe hundreds of dead infants. Abandonment. Not killing. Not homicide. Not mass murder. Just abandonment. Her sentence? 4 years. 4 years. Gasps fill the room. Some parents collapse. Others scream. Many just sit there in shock. 4 years for ending hundreds of lives. And even that sentence doesn't stick. On appeal, it's reduced. Time served is counted. And then, quietly, she walks free. No cameras. No apology. No public reckoning. She fades into the background of post-war Japan. And just like that, the angel of death disappears. The scariest killers don't think they're evil. To understand this case, you have to understand something uncomfortable. Miyuki Ishikawa never thought she was wrong. She wasn't impulsive. She wasn't sadistic. She wasn't chaotic. She was methodical. Psychologists later studying the case pointed out something chilling. She didn't act out of hatred. She acted out of belief. Belief that poverty equals suffering. Suffering is worse than death. Some lives are expendable. That mindset is lethal when paired with authority. As a nurse, she had access. As a midwife, she had trust. As an adult in a broken system, she had permission. No one challenged her decisions. No one checked her rooms. No one questioned her outcomes. She became judge, jury, and executioner, without ever lifting a weapon. What makes this case different from other serial killers is the absence of ego. She didn't crave attention. She didn't want fame. She didn't keep trophies. Her satisfaction came from order, from solving what she saw as problems, and the system rewarded her for it. Colleagues were relieved someone was handling difficult cases. Administrators avoided paperwork. Parents avoided shame. Everyone benefited, except the babies. When everyone looks away, evil doesn't have to hide. This is why her crimes went on for so long. Not because she was clever, but because she was convenient. Some crimes don't echo. They fade.
Make sure to subscribe the channel for more true crime stories. Share this video with your friends and family members who are interested in true crime stories. Thank you.